Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Rough Around the Edges, brought to you by Pepsi. I mean Roughneck Games, not Pepsi. Don't sue us. Hey.
Also, we choose Coke.
Actually, too.
Can they sue us for giving them recognition?
Probably not.
Plus, Coke Zero has more of our color scheme.
It's not like we slandered
true.
them.
That's true.
The Roughneck.
That's
Roughneck
true.
Coke.
Although
we did lie about them sponsoring us, so maybe.
Oh, yeah. I corrected myself instantly, though. There's statute of limitations or something?
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, laws protect us when it's convenient.
The that's more appropriate would be the 5-second rule.
I'm going to throw out more social studies terms. Laissez-faire. Does that apply?
Perestroika.
Perestroika?
Let's keep it going.
Peristalsis. All right. Anyhow, so today the Civil War trailer came out.
Yeah.
The movie. It's next May, right? Is when it's going to release.
Yep. It's a next.
We're talking about the
So
North versus the South.
Yes, the trailer for the war that happened years and years ago.
Glory to the aftermath.
Oh man, that'd be brutal.
This has nothing to do.
Hour and a half of you crying.
Please tell me Matthew Broderick is in this with a sweet.
I think Tony
Goat.
Stark punches Abe Lincoln in the face.
Nice. Finally, the crossover.
Anyhow,
Danny
yes,
Glover.
Marvel's Civil War. It's actually Captain America Civil War is what it's called, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
So-
the third of the Captain Americas.
I'm just going to kick it right at you because you are
Yeah.
the resident
We'll punt.
Sure.
Civil War expert.
So
Explain what it is.
the Civil War, the Civil War, Marvel Civil
Yes.
War. Okay, there is so much in here. I'm just going to try to shed all the context and say it when I need to, I suppose. But essentially, the whole arc is that the government wants to form a superhero registration act, so that all the superheroes have to register with the government and work for the government, sort of like a police force. And it would require them to reveal their identities and be controlled by the federal government. And the reason that this happens in the comics, at least, is because there's a group. Well, I mean, the superheroes have been destroying every city in which they fight villains from the beginning of time.
Not to interrupt,
what
but
happens.
just for clarification, when you say the federal government, you mean the United
The
States?
United States, yeah, U.S.
Really?
government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
surprised the world doesn't have a problem with that, or maybe they do.
Well, it was a different time.
With the U.S. saying that? Well,
With
it
the
was
U.S.
for-
controlling all the superheroes?
It was for, well,
Just
it was
like the
for the
internet.
U.S. It's just for the U.S. It's just U.S. specific.
Oh,
Not
okay.
for
Because,
their
like-
foreign operations.
Because in the aftermath, some superheroes moved to Canada because they don't want to deal with it.
Safe
It's a
harbor.
nice place.
Up
Yeah,
old Canada
it is a
way.
nice place. Old Canada way.
Up old Canada way.
Yeah. So this all culminates when this group of pretty young superheroes, really fringe superheroes that a lot of people probably don't even know, they are they're in this random town, I think in Connecticut, and they're shooting a live reality show, and it follows these young superheroes trying to catch supervillains. It's really weird.
So this is out of the comics.
This is out of the comics.
Okay.
And
How'd that go?
it didn't
So-
go well. It all
Shocker.
It all culminates in this one superhero, this one
Sounds like cops.
this one guy called Nitro.
Road rules.
Yeah, exactly. Superhero cops.
Bad boys.
This one guy called Nitro freaks out, and his power is to release a nuclear explosion, and it decimates the city and kills a large number of innocents.
Heroes season 1.
And
Oh, my Lord.
that's kind of the instigation of the government saying, okay, we need to take care of this right now.
That's very Heroes season
And
1.
many things happen, but ultimately they go to Tony Stark and they say, "We need you to kind of lead this charge for us." And they also go to Captain America to be the two who can kind of lead the rest of the heroes to register. Tony Stark agrees with it.
Government's douche.
Captain America does not,
American hero.
and and Captain America goes underground, and then it's a rift down the middle. The very few groups stay neutral. The biggest one in the X-Men stay neutral in the conflict. Wolverine actually makes it his personal vendetta to go hunt down that Nitro dude because he screwed it
Well,
up. for
I
everybody.
mean, in the X-Men, that whole domain, didn't the government try to tag all mutants and stuff like that anyways? Isn't there a similar vein
yeah,
they already dealt with?
They've already dealt with that. Also, this is going to open up a huge can here, but the Civil War also operates in the wake of an arc called the House of M, which is where Wanda Maximoff a.k.a. Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
has a mental breakdown and tries to use her powers to bring back her, I think, dead kids. And it creates this time-space rift that is a disaster. And then when she undoes it, most mutants have lost their powers. There are, I think, like 177 mutants left after that. And that's the world in which Civil War operates.
Whoa.
Huh.
So they're just not equipped.
I'm pretty sure about that. I don't know much about House of M. And it was kind of like a side thing when I last read Civil War, which was a few years ago. That was kind of
Kills all
I didn't
mutants.
really. They had a lot of references to other episodes, other comics, and I didn't know what was going on.
Kills mutants dead. Ultra strength.
Yeah. So basically, just so I can not keep, so I can stop talking a little bit.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
So I always thought it was interesting that Tony Stark sided with the government and said, sure, let's register all of them. Because he's always kind of seemed like he goes his own way. He's kind of a fast and loose when in his personal life before he was Iron Man.
Right.
At least from what I know about it.
Right.
He's also
but
already known.
That's
That's
a
true.
big
That's
part
the
of
other
it.
part
That's
is
a big
that
part.
he came out and just said, "I am Iron Man." So
Right.
it's not really a secret for him.
Well, and the people who side with him tend to be the ones who are known. Like Reed Richards is one of his
Oh,
staunch
yeah.
allies. Mr. Fantastic, and he is
Speaking of which, they
wide
announced
open.
today that, or I think they took it off the list of planned movies releases. They took Final Fantasy, wow,
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy.
Took a
FF
change in
Fantastic
direction there.
42,
Huh.
Fantastic 42 off the list. I
Which
don't know what
isn't
that means
owned by
exactly.
Marvel, right? They're not owned by Marvel anyway.
Are they not?
That one.
I think
Somebody else owns it
I
still.
think Fantastic Four is
That's
one
why
of the
there's no
fringe.
crossover.
Whatever owns X-Men, I feel like owns Fantastic Four.
So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this because the conflict that they've created, and obviously it was created in the comics before this, but I've never read the comics or anything like this. But when I started hearing about Civil War and the conflict that they are dealing with, I can see myself on both sides,
Yeah,
and I think that's, prime real estate for a great story.
absolutely. It's probably one of the best arcs I've ever. I highly recommend it. Not only this, I think it was 7 core comics, but there are a number of individual superhero comics that go along with it. And kind of fill in the gaps between the 7. I recommend it to everyone. It's Mark Millar. Mark Millar? I think that's his name, is the writer. He's done all sorts of crazy stuff in the Marvel Universe, and he did Wanted, and he did Kick-Ass,
Bend
I
it like
think.
Beckham bullet thing.
I think he did Kick-Ass.
Yes.
I'm gonna
What?
bend it.
I think you're right. You
Yeah.
kick ass.
He's really good. It's really good stuff. One other fun thing before other people should probably share their opinions here about what we should take sides too.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Well, I would like to know how accurate the trailer looks compared
Yeah.
to what you know. But
Well, the other thing I was going to add is one big story arc throughout the Civil War story in Marvel is the role of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has traditionally been the anonymous hero. Nobody knows who he is. He tries really hard to protect his identity. Tony Stark kind of gets into his head and convinces him to reveal himself, which he does in this arc as Peter Parker. And he works very closely with Tony Stark. He gets a whole new set of armor called the Iron. He's called the Iron Spider because he has like Tony Stark style armor, and he has 8 legs behind him that he uses to like climb around and stuff.
Yikes.
It's crazy bonkers.
Doc Ock.
Spider-Man is.
I don't like
is
the
awesome.
sounds of that at all.
It looks gross. You wouldn't like it, I don't think. At least the appearance.
With your
and
spider
it's
love.
and it's golden red, and it's a real weird character identity moment for Spider-Man. He ends up totally disagreeing. Tony Stark. Oh man, I forget exactly what happens now. I need to reread all these, but something happens where Tony and Spider-Man kind of fight, and then Spider-Man leaves and joins Captain America. So it's a cool thing, but.
So now that you're done explaining that,
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
Lots of
If
stuff.
you didn't want to know everything that happens
Go
in the
read
comics
the books.
about
There's so much
Civil
more
War.
that happens anyway.
Well, yeah. So,
Our spoiler alerts are punctual.
punctual. Yes. Listen to our podcast backwards, and it will work better for you.
Oh, that's probably terrifying.
Speaking of which, random fact, I'm just going to throw this out there completely off topic, but I was looking up something about Diablo recently, and I found out that Diablo 1, like the character Diablo has a quote where he says something. It's basically, eat your vegetables and brush after every meal. Played backwards.
Oh man,
And that's what Diablo says.
I definitely didn't recognize that back when I played it.
No, way to go, Blizzard.
It was an intense situation though, so I wasn't really listening to him. I was just
Sage-like
I need to
advice.
get to you, and there's a bunch of succubuses in the way. Succubi?
Leave it to the host to completely derail the
Nice.
conversation
Very
there.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
Suck
I
is
mean,
something.
it wasn't that off topic considering if you do listen to our podcast backwards, we give you very, very crucial grocery shopping savings tips.
Yeah.
So we
If you
choreographed
If you
this
want to
very
know how to
deliberately.
coupon,
it's very
just flip it in reverse.
This is a coupon
Yeah.
clipping podcast.
so, yeah, just it's a dual purpose podcast. Wow.
Wave of
So
the future.
So start with you then. Which side would you pick?
Do you want me to answer that trailer question real quick?
Croutons.
Oh
half
yeah,
off.
I do want you
So
to answer
the
this.
trailer looks very different off the bat. I don't know.
Reed Richards in
A
there?
lot of the stuff in the trailer seemed out of order to me, which makes sense. I mean, they're just showing it sort of willy nilly as
Sporadic.
trailers do. But I think the core of it is there, which seems to be heroes are messing stuff up, and the government wants to get involved, and Iron Man and Captain America are on two different sides.
Right.
And that's really all you need because the conflict is very much an arc of.
So no characters in there that aren't supposed to be in there or anything like that.
Well, yeah, there are a lot. I mean, there are a ton of characters missing.
Well, yeah, that's going to be obvious. I don't think they. Could
I think the sides are a little rearranged. I don't know exactly the sides. I know some of who's on what side. I'm really hoping Black Panther doesn't take a side. He's actually very neutral throughout most of the Civil War. It even gets to the point where in the middle of the Civil War in the comics, both sides come together for a wedding in Wakanda where Black Panther's marrying Storm.
Nice.
Oh.
And it's like an alliance. It's like a neutral ground, and Cap and Iron Man talk. But anyway, I would side with Captain America. I definitely think that is the case.
So are we talking about siding? I guess do we want to just pick a side, or maybe we should specify when we're answering the question? Are we doing it in the universe of Marvel, or if this really happened, that there were superheroes and we were sitting by?
I'm doing it within the
I think
universe
wouldn't the
of
answer
Marvel.
be both?
It probably would
Could
be.
be.
I don't think I would be different.
I do have a very Marvel Universe reason why I would choose Cap, and I also have a kind of a real world philosophy reason of why I would choose Cap as well. So I guess it's consistent for me. But if it's different for you guys, then by all means.
Sure.
Anyway, it's Cap for me because I think that's pretty invasive. And even though these individuals are very powerful, most of them didn't ask for their abilities, and they're people too. So instead of just, it's one of those things where you just have a sweeping general policy because of the extremes, and it affects all the good.
You just exacerbate the problem.
Exactly. And I don't like when that happens. I'm sure we all get that in our day jobs where, policies go through because they have to fix the outliers who are doing a terrible job, but it kind of is just a pain in the butt for the people that are doing it right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Lowest common denominator.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't like that very much. Plus, it's very invasive. That's it's also controlling. I mean, if you're a mutant born with this power, theoretically, you have to now work for the government. I mean, what is that? Don't tell everybody what to do.
Or
So
or divulge all kinds of stuff.
That's where I'm coming from philosophically. Also, Daredevil is Captain America's kind of right-hand man. One of my favorite scenes.
Your boy.
Not in the movie though.
No, not in the movie.
I don't think he's in the movie.
Yeah, he has not been announced or confirmed, which stinks because that'd be a cool possibility.
show.
But
Bring him in.
But he's awesome in the comics, especially at one point Deadpool is sent to go assassinate Captain America, and he finds where their base is and infiltrates the warehouse, and Captain America sends Daredevil down to fight him, and he totally kicks his ass. Daredevil kicks Deadpool's ass, that is. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I am in the same boat. Kind of ideologically, I think Captain America's more on the right than Tony Stark, even though I kind of like Tony Stark overall more than Captain America. But just given my somewhat limited knowledge of it, one thing that's always stuck to me in what I've known about the Civil War is that Tony Stark in a way kind of has nothing to lose in this situation.
Yeah, he's already divulged.
Yeah,
right?
and basically the same as what you said. It is a generalization, kind of a sweeping thing to control a few people who are stupid and do something wrong.
Discrimination.
Yeah, and so I kind of like Wolverine's approach that you discussed,
Yeah.
which was track down the idiot who did this, and because it's his
Solve the problem.
fault.
Right.
He's the one. It's not all people with superpowers. It's not all
Well,
superheroes.
he was the catalyst, but because it's an aggregate of,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
even
but-
in the movie universe, they destroyed New York, right?
yeah,
Doing good, but yeah.
but so much not good.
Right.
With
Well, I have an interesting thing to add on that level when we're done going around.
all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically what I'm saying is you have one person who has shown himself to get out of control, yet you want to impose all these rules and legislation onto an entire group, and,
Right.
Yeah.
and to me,
Even
just
if it's
in general,
20 and there's 1 million, that's
yeah.
come on.
Now, if we were in the real,
It's a numbers game.
if we were in the real world, given
If you didn't have superpowers,
since I don't have superpowers, I'd probably have to think a little harder about how I
I think that was the reason for that.
would
'Cause, I
answer
mean,
that question.
If it really
Right.
happened,
Um,
it might change how you feel about it a little bit.
yeah, I
Might
mean,
be a little more selfish.
and that's why that's like I believe it was Jarvis said, like you can see both of these perspectives.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
definitely.
And I'm actually going to go the other way, and I know that sounds horrible because it is such an invasive, broad.
And you're a big Captain America fan, right?
communist.
I am a huge Captain America fan, but again, I'm not familiar with this, and
Yeah.
and this is all kind of new to me.
That's good.
And I completely understand where they're coming from. And I wish that if I were writing the story and it would be a terrible story, they would come to an agreement and take care of it peacefully. But
Everybody get along
I
now.
think I feel like you have to, and as horrible as this sounds, I feel like you have to look at them as weapons, and you have to think about it. Like what kind of struck me was, yeah, you're talking about a few bad eggs, but if that were applied to like a silo full of nukes, if they found an issue with a few of them, they're not going to mess around. They're probably, well, I guess they would have to analyze every single one and then decide individually what to do with them. But I would think
Yeah.
that they would just get rid of all of them.
Well,
I think
there
that
was a
I think that
problem.
analogy is good, except in that analogy, the nukes would also be free thinking and moving around, which makes it even more horrifying.
Right.
Which that's getting into your territory.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah, it is.
AI.
back to
mean,
the guy that was a nuclear explosion in the city.
I think that lends to your analogy, though. Like that,
It's
it
just
makes
a
it
bad,
even more.
It's a bad situation, and
Right.
and I can understand that they want their rights as American citizens, and they do deserve that. But unfortunately, I kind of agree that they can't have them.
Yeah, and
Doesn't that suck?
Sorry
if
for
they-
your luck.
And
Your
if they have
sweet
nothing
abilities.
to hide, does it really matter? You know, right? I mean, like it's not like
Right. Ultimately, well,
If
I
they're
mean,
good people
their
anyway.
life would be
Slippery slope.
just for them being known. I mean, they're going to be harassed by people
Right.
that aren't fans of superheroes.
right.
So it almost like being all of a sudden you're like this celebrity figure that gets both sides of the extreme.
yeah.
Paparazzi all over you.
Right.
Well,
and,
that's
and they, I mean, to no fault of their own, but that's unfortunately collateral damage, I guess.
Yeah.
You got to keep the system under control, and you have to protect the majority of the people, and you have to control them to do so.
Yeah, and that is the comics also reflect that duality of the populace, where some really regret, or they wow, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Abhor?
Despise, abhor. Yeah, they just don't like.
throw that
they
out
don't-
there.
they don't-
Loathe.
They don't like
you
that
go.
the government is doing this to some of their heroes, so they
Right.
actually aid the heroes in hiding. And then on the other side, there's a point where the Human Torch we were
Was
just-
denied a bank loan.
he was trying to go out one night to a club, and he was recognized, and they jumped him and beat him
said-
within an inch of his life.
He set it on fire.
He couldn't react. It was like a mob that attacked
Mm-hmm.
him. So when he woke up, he joined with Captain America, which Reed Richards did not like because that split the Fantastic Four. Ben Grimm, by the way, the Thing went neutral. So I should stop talking because I'll just
He's
keep
just a
going
rock
into
monster.
the lore of the story, and I like it.
So
I'm just listening.
You're like drawing a map in my brain, and it's
it's good. It's good.
excellent.
prep.
Didn't you say Reed Richards was not a fan?
Reed
of-
Richards is in support of the Registration Act. He's
Oh, okay.
the staunchest ally of Tony Stark.
Oh, okay. completely misheard you. Then.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that Captain America doesn't wear any sort of mask at all. He'd be instantly recognizable on any street. And he doesn't want anyone to know who he is.
Well,
pretty obvious who he is.
That's
No,
not
I don't
true.
think
That's
he's
not
worried
it.
about it.
Yeah,
He's not
this
worried
is
about
He's
it.
worried about everyone else.
He's worried about everyone else.
The
Okay.
Constitution, Joe.
Well,
He's
think
worried
of
about the Constitution.
He's worried about what it means to be American.
I like
That's
that.
exactly it. That's his biggest thing because he grew up in the Great War, the 40s and 50s. So
right.
like this is sounds
Greatest
like
generation.
You
the
know,
Germans to him.
fight
Register,
the fascists.
get branded.
Yeah. Well, that I think goes along with my answer, which would have been the same as you two.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm in support of him. So I'm glad at least Jarv took a dissenting opinion on this one, so that we're not all in unison.
Forever to be
So
hated.
it was good.
Yeah.
Well,
Being homogenous would not be.
I
I
can
think
spoil the end.
Big brother over here.
to explain my opinion there, I agree with all the explanations that you guys had, but I forget what I was going to say.
It happens.
He's a good guy.
Jinx. Coke.
He's a great guy.
Now.
He's a good guy.
Stand-up gentleman.
He's got
Coke
a
Zero.
fancy shield.
Zero.
He does wear a mask.
He does.
Actually, now that I think
wears
of
a
it,
helmet.
that was a dumb comment, but
Well,
oftentimes it gets
he
ripped
doesn't.
off.
Yeah, he doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't. But I like that you brought that point up because for Cap, he's like protecting his family. You know, he's scared for the people he's been leading. He's like the dad of a lot of the
Yeah.
superheroes.
I mean,
Figuratively
it's
and
about-
literally.
it's about you draw a
Make this
line
round.
you have to draw a line somewhere. I mean, everybody, they're citizens still. I mean, they deserve freedom. Just they have all the rights the way things are written.
Right.
Um,
And imagine telling
I
Captain
mean-
America of all people, you got to register, dude. Come on.
yeah,
He defeated Hitler ish.
Hitlerish.
Hitler.
Hitlerish.
Well, one interesting fact.
Right to bear superpowers. It's the next amendment.
Amendment. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, though, he could have accepted that leadership role of bringing people to the side and making it an amicable process instead of creating a civil war.
You just, I think, articulated Tony Stark's one of his biggest arguments against Cap when they meet in battle various
Me and
times.
Tony, you know,
Think
we got
alike.
it going on.
One other interesting thing, though, is, and I really enjoyed this, and I don't know if it skewed the way that the story went in Marvel, but while this was all going on, and you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. was hunting down renegade heroes, and Tony Stark is leading the way, Captain America is still leading his underground Avengers, whoever come to him, to fight supervillains who are still out causing havoc.
Loving the
Doing
fact
dirty
that there's a
deeds.
Civil War.
So what the pro
Dungeon
registration side does is targets the villains and kind of uses them as bait, and then tries to draw out Cap, who's trying to like protect innocence. It's really cool
Yeah.
dynamic,
And
in
that's
the
kind of the
story.
argument that I was going to make
that's
before I
cheap.
abruptly had a brain fart. But it's that, I mean, it's basically assuming that they're all going to be bad or dangerous, you know, before they actually are bad or dangerous. I mean, like, we don't go out and arrest people and
Right.
make them sign up for, you know, the sexual offender list if they haven't been, you know, a sex
Yeah.
offender, for instance.
We are quite
I
the
mean,
opposite of
Tom
guilty until
Cruise.
proven
Yeah.
innocent.
So it's basically
Future
just
crimes.
it's basically saying they're guilty of that, and they need to have some extra, some extra burden placed upon them, and some extra invasiveness
Yeah.
into their lives. So
Yeah, but
that was
what-
my argument.
What about if you looked at it as a disease that could spread and you have to isolate people, they lose their rights at that point. They're not allowed to choose to be free in those situations because they're
Harming others.
harming others.
Yeah.
And I know they're not all actively harming people, but they have to account for that.
Well, they
They
should
have to account for the
persecute
fact
the
that
ones that
some
are
of them-
harming people, and then make them.
Yeah,
You know.
that's pretty difficult to do when they're supervillains.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a list of superheroes that are on their side already,
That's
right?
true.
So
They do, yeah. It's very complicated.
tough.
It's
Yeah.
very complex, and honestly, there are parts when I was reading it where I thought, ugh, maybe they should just register. Like, this is getting out of hand. This is kind of crazy,
just
right
give
now.
in, man. It's
Or like-
hard on
like
everybody.
Goliath dies in a battle from clone Thor, as if that needs to be a thing.
Say what?
What?
Yeah, I don't
do
know.
you-
I don't even know
what?
what something's going on with Thor at the time.
You got interested in cloning?
But then a clone shows up and like he's out of
Got real
control,
big into cloning.
and he's not acting like Thor, and he destroys
It was the
this guy
80s.
named Goliath. It was weird.
so
Yeah,
was it
it's
actually a clone of Thor?
Yeah,
Wow.
Weird.
Did he do that? Did he do that? They're like, I want to clone
I
myself.
don't think so.
Or did
Thor,
somebody somehow
Thor,
get
I think, is
genetic
missing
material?
in this story.
Yeah, I was noticing he wasn't in there.
Yeah.
I also, what's interesting to me is they
Hulk
didn't
is missing as well.
that they call this Captain America. I mean, he's a pivotal part of it, and he is like the main, opposition and everything. But this is technically a Captain America movie with all of these other characters as sort of assisting him.
I'd like to point out the
supporting
fact that
cast.
You just called him the opposition, which means you switched over to my side.
Ooh. He's the not law follower. The unlawful one.
He is going against the government.
So the fact that it's a Captain
I
America
should
movie
clarify.
is already leading the viewer to be on the side of Captain
that's
America?
what my question was going to be, is like, does that influence things? I mean, is that trying to sway people to be on his side, or is it just because it's a difficult question? I mean, it's just like, hey, we need another Captain America movie. We can't call this like Avengers.
I don't know if I was going to say even the comics kind of seem to feel for Cap, but I don't think I can say
Well,
that.
why couldn't it be like an Iron Man movie in that series?
They already made 3, man.
Yeah,
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game, exactly.
Spread it out.
In my
Too many
opinion,
dicks on the dance floor.
It's called Cash Money.
to be very
I
technical
think that
about
makes
it,
sense.
they didn't want to make an entire Avengers movie about the Civil War.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to make another Iron Man, so it fell
Which is in like
it's the
bringing
Avengers. I mean, well, not just the Avengers, but I mean they're
shouldn't.
huge.
It should be nothing. It should be Marvel Civil War, and they should
Yeah.
make a trilogy.
I
And it
agree
should
with
be
that.
epic
That's
and
where
awesome.
they're headed, anyways. Because aren't
yeah.
they doing the Infinity Wars?
Yeah,
and they're
which is-
calling
well,
it the Infinity Wars.
right.
They're not. Are they calling it Avengers: The Infinity
I
Wars?
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So they haven't announced or anything that this is all going to be one. All the Civil War is going to happen in one movie, right? They're not expecting to split it up into multiple movies.
I haven't heard that.
Okay,
If
because I
that's-
haven't heard either way. I just
If they
thought of
don't
that.
resolve this in one movie,
So
I'm going to
maybe-
probably do something bad to myself.
maybe the next, like this is
No,
part
don't.
1, and then they'll announce like part 2 is, Iron Man.
The
Civil
ending
War.
of this movie could potentially piss off
but it's probably just
a
gonna be
lot of people if it goes how I think it might go.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, they've already. It seems like
kinda-
they're taking a lot of liberties, and they're it's not going to include
I don't
all
know
the characters
why-
that you.
I don't usually side with the let's make a ton of money and let's do this thing, but I want to always watch Marvel movies. So I don't
So
want
keep
them to
making
do
money and
anything
making
rash
movies?
here, you know?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
I'm scared about it.
Yeah.
I'm more nervous for the upcoming Marvel movies than I've been for any of them.
I think. Well, yeah. I think that what is one thing that's really interesting to me about Captain America is a lot of the other characters, they either were born with a superpower or they invent their own superpower. He kind of just, it was created. I mean, he was a created superhero by humans, by humanity. I can't recall. I think it was not necessarily against his will, but they just he signed up for some program and they gave him a shot and he didn't know exactly what was going to happen, right?
Yeah, they were targeting character and like a strong character, a leader.
Yeah.
But he was a super tiny,
A weak,
Scrawny little dude.
individual.
and
So small.
yeah. So they made him it was a super soldier serum.
Yeah. So what other characters are made, I guess? Not like Iron Man was, he made a suit and therefore
Hulk
he is.
Hulk is made.
Hulk was made.
Yeah, absolutely.
But not. Is it
He
intentional?
was an accident, though.
But
wasn't
he
was-
was not intentional. Though,
I'm
right?
pretty sure
Yeah, that was an
what
accident.
happened was Bruce
Same
Banner
with
was working
Spider-Man.
on gamma radiation to achieve super soldier, and
Yeah.
the accident was he created the Hulk in himself.
Right. Yeah,
I
because
think
I know
that's
that
it.
the super soldier aspect is connected to it.
Yeah.
somewhere.
Spider-Man was the genetically modified spider, right?
Yep, Spider-Man was bit. Bucky was made. Winter Soldier was made. Same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's very diverse. Some of it's just random. I mean, the mutant thing is huge.
Was
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver made? Or were they?
They
By banging.
Bow, chicka, wah, wah.
Yeah,
Not-
because
not each other, to
right?
be clear.
They're
not,
Magneto's
yeah, not
children.
each other. They're siblings.
Oh.
It's Magneto and
yeah, in the Marvel it's not the Marvel universe. It's like who made X-Men? Sony or what is it? Come on,
Universal, Fox.
I don't know. Yeah, it might be 20th Century Fox. I don't know.
I
Doesn't
think it
matter.
is.
Whoever owns X-Men
'Cause of the-
made it so that they were like mutants who were found, but in the Marvel lore, there's the twins of Magneto,
Oh.
Yeah.
Maximoff.
Did they ever explain that in
They didn't make it that
in
way
Marvel?
in the movies.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's why
I'm sorry. In Avengers, I'm talking about. Okay, so in Avengers,
Avengers,
I just
they
had
didn't.
I had a brain fart because I was thinking of Quicksilver from the X-Men movies.
Yeah, the
In
first,
that
the
case,
first
they
class
allude to
They
it
do
series.
allude to that.
He's like, yeah, some guy that-
Yeah, they do, yeah,
Yep,
'cause
exactly.
it's in that universe.
But in Avengers, which is Marvel, they just don't do it. They just say they found 2 random. That's at the end of a Captain
That's
America.
that's
Right.
at the end of
Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's interesting to me is that I think that, and this everyone's going to hate this idea, but I think that Scarlett Johansson and the Olsen twins' sister should switch characters abruptly for the next movie, so that we can just go with Scarlett Johansson as the Scarlet Witch. Just more
'cause
fitting.
it makes sense?
Because it makes more sense.
She should do both so she's on screen more.
I do also did.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just do all your
No, I think
split-screen magic.
I can't remember her first name. The Olsen
Yeah.
twins' sister.
Olsen.
Olsen. Let's say Olsen.
Um,
Olsen and Scarlet. But I think she did a good
Brie
job as
Olsen.
Scarlet Witch.
No, she's the one
No.
that almost
Wow,
got
that's a
AIDS
porn-
from
porn
Sarah.
star.
Isn't it like Emily?
Wait, Scarlet Witch is an Olsen twin?
She is the sister of
She's
the
the
Olsen
younger sister of the
twins.
Olsen twins.
Yeah. Wrap your head around
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, did you?
But that she wasn't in Full House.
No, she's the younger sister.
Okay.
I
But
knew,
I
I,
think-
knew that your thinking was Full House,
I was
but
like,
they
Yeah,
that
but
was-
they
she was
played the
Steph.
youngest sister.
I'm so
in Full House.
confused.
But I think she was in some of the Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen spin-off detective series, which, yeah, I did watch.
I missed
as a
those.
child.
I missed those.
I have the entire catalog. What the hell
I'm
are
gonna
you
have-
talking
Do
about?
they have those on Netflix?
I will be
Can I
releasing
check
those
that
on
out on
YouTube, pirating those.
Because
So-
if you're gonna risk it,
It's for Mary Kate and Ashley.
yeah.
I think it's interesting because, I mean, from a standpoint of all these characters, a lot of them are made into superheroes accidentally, some intentionally, but it doesn't really fit with, like, they're not eugenics, right? In the pure term eugenics, where they're making tweaks and trying to
Well, isn't
selectively
that
breed
what
or something.
Captain America is?
Well, it's not from like selective breeding process or something
Right.
like that.
That's fair.
It's-
That is Magneto's. Magneto is arguing for eugenics, right?
Okay, so yeah,
That's where it pops up a lot in the Marvel universe because he thinks that mutants are the next evolution.
right.
So they should only
so
mate
they-
with other mutants?
Well, he never really says like let's breed each other for power, but he
Sup?
says
Let's breed.
It's more
Let's see what
each other.
awesome combinations we can make.
it's more of our genes are better than yours. Deal with it, kind of thing.
he just
and
wants
Xavier
to have more.
Yeah.
is trying to
Scarlet
say
It's got a
Witches.
point.
His look is
Yeah,
very
he
survival of the fittest.
it is, and it's
Evolutionary
because of that
intelligence.
World War II experience that he went through. Yeah.
That's not fun.
So it's not really, but
But it is.
we
it
could
has some
theoretically
place.
create these super soldiers through some sort of genetic manipulation. Not necessarily breeding, but I mean, we have the ability to mess with our
Well, I feel like
genetic code from embryo
in
state.
vitro.
Yeah.
true. I mean that genetic modification is something that's becoming or will become
well,
possible.
like, here's
I'd expect.
I think a question would be if you had a child and I don't know, maybe you entered some program and the doctor said, okay, we can make sure that your child will have stamina that is 3 times the average human. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Do you do it?
Yes.
Well, you have to
Sexual
ask how
stamina?
much it costs first, but
All stamina. Ubiquitous
all
stamina.
The greater realm of
That would just be
stamina.
frustrating, though, if it was sexual stamina. Just be like, God,
Days into
never
this
going to
journey.
get there.
I need another.
You always want to
sandwich.
stop after 25 minutes.
Chafing.
There's there are downsides to all
There are
superpowers,
downsides.
love
I,
that.
I was picturing somebody
Running in
running on a
circles?
track, but
That's more appropriate.
I knew what you meant. I would say, I don't know.
Yeah.
This might be surprising, but I'd say no.
I
Why?
retract my statement. Not necessarily stamina, but I guess I feel like if it were to prevent, like if I could make sure that they wouldn't have some kind of birth defect, I would
Right.
totally do that.
Oh, so prevention, not improvement.
Correct.
Yeah.
well, there's a lot of people who even feel that manipulating the genome at an early stage to get rid of a birth defect is
Oh yeah.
too much tampering.
Yeah, they're full of shit.
Opinion
they
expressed.
feel really strongly about it
with it.
too. I have these are conversations I have often with people around me, and
Yeah,
It is difficult.
I say no to the stamina one just because
Because then you have to register.
I don't No. I don't. I don't know. I can't. I don't know what the consequences would be, but you start
Monkeying with things.
there. I would prefer my child grew up with the same limitations, or around the average of the same limitations as other people around him or her, and then have to deal with that and try to improve them through some personal will rather than just being gifted that. But in terms of things like birth defects and stuff like that, I mean, my opinion is a little different, but I mean, just if I was given that choice with the guarantee of no problems, no birth defects because of that tampering or whatever, I would say no. Builds character.
So
would you
define
would you then
Have regular stamina.
would you then
Define
put
yourself by your own means.
would you then put him in the middle of Africa so he can grow stronger in the wild?
Absolutely.
yeah, throw your
Survive
toddler
with
in
the
woods.
lions, and if you can't, that's your fault.
Joe,
That's right.
You
I'll
weren't
make
meant-
another one, and maybe he'll be able to.
You weren't meant to be.
Joe, haven't you expressed
Son.
that already as your plan for your kid?
Oh, I've told people that
when your child's 6 months, you throw
don't
him
know I'm not
into-
serious. That
into
I'm
Detroit.
yeah, I'm going into the woods.
Just gonna airdrop him.
Be raised by whatever raises
I'm gonna
them.
leave my 2-year-old in Detroit, and if it makes it back, it's worthy.
They come back. They come back great. If they don't, then let's get it on. I got to make another one. That's
Yeah, it is complicated.
entirely facetious.
Not the Detroit thing, but the I don't know. I mean, fixing birth, ailments that they'll deal with their whole life. It seems objectively like, why would you not want to save them from a challenging life? Right.
But part of that defines their character, so you might
Well,
change who they
yeah,
become.
but it's not natural.
Does it define their? I mean, does that also mean like social standing? People are
I mean,
born into
like,
different social standings.
Right.
You don't purposely hinder them so that they develop more character.
That's
sure, no, but I mean, well, I guess the problem is if we get to the point where you can get your child, unborn child analyzed, and you can find out this is going to be a problem, like 99.99% certainty, and then you don't fix it,
Yeah.
like where's the morality in
Just
that?
a dick.
Very good, very good point. I mean, you're
Like,
you've made
yeah.
the conscious choice to make their life very challenging.
Yeah. I don't know. That's tough.
I don't want to deal with that anytime soon.
So say that, hypothetically, say that your parents are obviously making this decision. You don't get to say anything. But say that we have the ability to make superpowers and your parents decide that, they're going to fork over the extra $1.50 to get you a superpower. Any superpower, not your choice to have it, but your choice, what would it be? What superpower?
So we're
would you
going to
choose?
have a superpower no
Yeah,
matter what.
which would
do
you
you want it to
prefer
be?
to have? What would you want it to be? I'll clarify that question because it came out like poop.
For you and Costa Bucco.
I've had some good people today.
I'll go first. Did you just like ambush Arquat? Did you? Is this
No.
Oh, this isn't even.
Okay, this
oh,
isn't even
man.
Arquat.
I feel like it was
Arquat,
all of a
yeah,
sudden
okay.
Arquat.
It feels like
No, it's
Arquat.
basically what the question basically is. What superpower would you
Okay.
choose if you could have a
It's a
superpower?
one, too. It's a
I'm,
good one.
being
I'm
a
going
random
with.
question of
I just put it in the.
It's funny because I hear this a lot, and it's a common interview question, and all. But I've never really had a good answer until recently. Not super recently, but last few years, I've settled on the fact that I would like to have invisibility because I'm kind of a homebody in a lot of ways, and I get anxious in crowds, and I just
don't want to
I
have to
like
deal with people. Sometimes
it's very relaxing for me to be in a alone state.
Yeah.
Hopefully not in a terrible way, but yeah. So invisibility would give me the ability to flip a switch and
just shut it off, so you
right,
don't always
exactly.
have to be out.
kind of
I think that makes
keep
sense.
things in check.
That does make sense.
So this question typically comes down to invisibility or flying. These are the two big ones. And I saw a discussion recently where this was discussed, believe it or not, in a discussion. I'm an idiot. But it was funny because they brought up the actual, the practicalities of flying. Like, if you had flying, but you were like, I'm going to fly to California, do whatever out there.
Yeah.
You'd still be freezing cold while you're flying, and you'd
Depends
have
on
to
what altitude.
and you'd have to carry your bags with you.
Yes. And
That's
how
just-
long would it take? How fast can you fly?
That's just
still
yeah.
distance.
That's just
not teleportation.
That's just a pain.
These
Carrying
practicalities
your own
are
bags.
out the window.
But then,
As long as you're carrying
So
plastic, you
obviously
can just buy whatever you
teleportation
want.
is better than flight,
exactly.
especially if you
tele-
can teleport instantly at whatever speed you want. You can basically do it at such a repetition rate, a high enough
You are
number of
getting
hertz
all of my answers
that you can fly.
right now.
But okay,
Is that
Yeah.
what you were going to say too?
No, I was actually stalling until I came up with something.
How do you not think about this? What do you think about in the shower? This is like 80% of my shower.
I do not want the
I
answer
want
to that question.
So many. Preston Garvey.
Oh,
Oh
Preston.
no, Preston!
oh god,
Can you pass the
geez.
soap, Preston?
Ooh, you dropped it.
But to be honest,
Watch out.
there's so many that I would want.
Oh, jeez.
In a way, Wolverine's healing factor
Yep.
oh yeah,
Great
heck
one.
Yeah.
is
one.
it's like that and teleportation. Like,
Yep,
and
same.
that so basically kind of comes down to Wolverine and Nightcrawler. But yeah, I like Wolverine's healing factor. That just the ability and the abilities and ways that could be utilized are extremely interesting to me.
Yeah, especially if it's Wolverines where you don't really die.
Yeah.
In which case, you could learn any skill you want to or need to because you are
you can
fine.
spend the 10,000 hours
Yeah,
or whatever
right.
the hypothesis is.
I didn't know immortality was on the table. Is he immortal? Seriously?
He ages.
He does age slowly, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got some
so
gray.
he is mortal.
He's got a touch
He's
of gray
mortal,
just for
but
men.
he. I
Okay.
mean, even in the Civil War, he gets destroyed by Nitro's blast and comes back together. So he's
Yeah,
he
I would
is-
totally love to be immortal.
his limits are extreme. Recently, there was a Wolverine comic was released where he was killed, and I feel like they killed, but I forget what they did.
He made air quotes, everybody.
Yeah, I made air quotes.
I don't know why.
I
But
think he was like
Some
encased.
kind of ironic killed?
He was encased in something or melted. I don't know.
Carbonite.
It doesn't matter.
That'd be quite safe.
Anyway.
ironic doom.
I'm right where you are, Dan. Healing and teleportation are the two for me. I have strongly considered extreme reflexes and agility type things as well. But if you could teleport, you wouldn't really need the agility because you could theoretically teleport faster than they could attack you if you're good at it. And also it opens up so many opportunities like teleporting into ancient tombs and checking it out.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or libraries or like places that I'm not supposed to go, but
Library.
I really
Oh,
want
yeah.
to.
Libraries?
It's like
You're not supposed to go in libraries?
Vatican
I mean,
basement.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
The back room where all the
museums,
cool
I guess,
books are?
Is what I
Vatican.
meant more than libraries.
You could go
into the public library. Here we go. After hours.
History section.
It's 8:31. Nerds.
No.
you could finally
Naughty.
cross those velvet ropes that
Find
have the
homeless
sign,
people
"Do not
pissing all
cross."
over the place.
That's
God.
ridiculous.
This is why they need to have you registered.
Yes.
Is You're a loose cannon and
You're a
you're,
loose
you're
cannon.
visiting too many
The
libraries.
libraries close at 8:30. You're here at 8:32.
Look, man,
Yeah.
respect the rules.
Stark is out to get you.
What if you
Yeah.
actually had the ability to absorb superpowers?
Like Pete and
Peter
Rogue?
Petrelli.
yeah.
But you'd never know because nobody has superpowers.
So you're actually there.
That
Already.
hurt me a little. I've never thought that in my whole
there
life.
was time now.
That has, oh my gosh.
Uh.
But anyway, healing is so good, but I just am so enamored with teleporting for a number of reasons. Nightcrawler, and even, I mean, I know it's Hayden Christensen, but I really
Jumper.
like Jumper as a
I've heard good
concept.
things. Never,
It's-
you should watch
never
it.
saw it.
It's
but-
yeah,
Yeah,
like-
it's
entertaining.
actually not bad. Like
It's not the best movie
No,
ever
he's-
made, but
Sure.
I just like the concept so much that
Right.
I like it. It's good.
yeah.
yeah.
So
He was also good
Teleportation.
in Life as a House. Is that what it was called?
I don't know.
You take that.
That
back.
doesn't even make sense.
I've seen a handful
I
of
have no
movies
idea
with
what you're
him,
talking about.
and
Those
they
are
are all
some
Star Wars
deep
and Jumpers.
shit right
yeah,
there.
I've seen a hand.
Those are two different nouns entirely.
Two Star Wars movies and Jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that teleportation is interesting because what I was saying is if you can teleport at a fast enough rate, you can basically fly. Because gravity,
Right.
yes, will pull you down, but you could keep bouncing back right to the location. You can kind of hover.
So are we assuming
If you wanted to fly, I don't know why you would. You can just kind of like teleport
Wouldn't you
somewhere.
slowly
there.
be building up acceleration downward though? so that once you stop, you're just
you're
flying towards the
you're
ground.
defying physics already. You're moving matter
Right.
with like
I just-
infinite work. What?
I feel like that you would have to exert yourself to teleport in some way, and so I don't know if I'd want to like exert myself constantly like that all the way across the country or whatever you're doing.
Especially when if you want
So I'm
to.
imagining you are like Hero from Heroes, and you're just doing that squinty. I just shit myself thing every time. Like, constantly.
That was hilarious because you're working across the country or whatever motion was essentially humping. So you're just humping across the
was
country.
kind of
thrusting across America.
like a mobile constipated
Jar
type
Train
look.
2009 humping across America.
You're trying to drop a deuce.
Yeah, but flying makes no sense if you have teleportation, right?
I move my arms when I'm
I'm
shitting.
going to
by the
teleport
way.
to California. By
Don't we
2
all?
feet
Well,
at
if
a
you want to
time.
get up in
not-
the air and like hover and see something, then it's still valuable. But you could teleport
Right.
up there and then just keep instantly teleporting yourself and just hover.
Interesting.
That
There-
would,
I'm sure
would
there
be
are
my
rules.
argument if you can do it with no time.
There's a
restrictions.
cooldown, dude.
Like if you can only do it at like 1 hertz,
Abilities
you're gonna be
have
bouncing
cooldowns.
around. It's
At
gonna be
least
stupid.
the global cooldown.
The GCD.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. That's not really my choice. One thing, it's just something that I've thought of while I was thinking of this question in the past. Because I
want some-
sometimes in the shower,
I want so
you
many.
gotta think about it.
Maybe.
I do think about this in the shower, in addition to Preston. But the thing is that there's so many that I want. It's one of those things. I can't.
It's a really
choose
tough
one.
decision.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
almost
tough.
just want to get hit with it and be like, "Here's what I have."
Right.
But one thing that I have
Jubilee.
thought of that I don't think most
You
people
can break VCRs.
one that's more rare that I would
Jubilee
really
is-
appreciate having is the ability to not have to sleep.
Right.
Oh,
So
man.
It's a
that
very
you would
practical
basically get another third of your life to do what you want. Now, I would also want the ability to sleep if I just felt like it, because sometimes it just
Right.
feels really good.
I was going to ask that.
You know,
That's
to
key.
get tired and sleep and just have
Oh,
it really
man.
good. Get right in there.
Wake up in the cold morning.
right in
with
there.
Get
nothing
right
to
in there and
do,
sleep.
and you got your blanks.
Yeah, you blank it all up. No, but if
your
you
jams.
could, I mean, you basically have another. Depending on how much you sleep, for me, it doesn't necessarily always hit 8. But if you had that ability, you basically have 50% more life. You know,
Yeah.
if you sleep 8 hours and you're awake 16, you know, there you go.
Yeah.
Do that math.
Isn't that isn't
Wrap
that
it
a
around
great-
your head.
Fantastic.
It's a
Because
great
So,
quote
16
from-
is 8.
That there's a Rick and Morty.
I did the math.
Tied it all together.
You said do the math.
Do the math. Thanks. You take me literally, and I appreciate this.
There's a great Rick and Morty quote where Rick is like, "Don't you guys know that sleeping is like a third of your life?" And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because
He
they
does
try
point
to
that
get
out.
Morty to sleep. I love it.
Great show.
He does say like sleep is half of your
Oh, maybe he
awake
says
time.
half. Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's
Think
like-
about that.
Oh,
and then
wow.
it just takes him away.
See, I'm on the same page. You know, me
You
and
are
Rick.
you are Rick of the future.
I'm Rick of the future. Without all his fun abilities.
Yeah.
Think about it.
So I'm going to turn.
I have, and
about it.
I'm still confused.
So I'm going to just throw out one random thing that's not in line with anything we've talked
Is
about.
this
so
not the
far.
random question of the day?
No.
'Cause
There's
This is
so
a-
many random
a second
questions.
fake out.
No, this is a second fake out leading up to the random question
Oh,
of the day.
man.
I think we already discussed this earlier, but just to point out to the audience that today Star Wars was announced that it's PG-13 for the new
nice.
Star Wars movie,
Nice.
which I think is interesting because the only other one to be PG-13 was Revenge of the Sith,
Which was a great one.
I thought was the best of the prequels.
Yeah.
So
Really good.
That is good news.
yeah,
I
Darker
still wish
world.
it was R, but
it's
That's
more like
okay.
the more you know than really a question. I'm not asking you anything. You can comment as you want, but that was just like be aware.
I think it's
Audience.
great.
I think it's great too.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
a good thing.
I'm a fan.
I do too. R quadded. Random
right.
question of the
Quadded.
day, which I did not write down.
Random.
Dun dun dun. It's gonna be
ready.
real random because we don't have one.
Your random question of the day is in the spirit of the holiday that is coming
I
up
love the holidays.
right soon. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
So good. I love this question.
Oh.
I'm so much.
This I have an answer
Just getting
to.
excited for the meal.
I love it.
You looking at me?
Anybody who's gonna jump
All right.
on it?
All right.
Bite the bullet.
Oh God, they're
tough.
just cycling through my brain right now, and I love all of them. I
Dane.
think, so this is wow. Hey now, Dan,
I was
don't
giving,
steal it.
I was
Total
giving you
redirect.
an opportunity.
Now.
I will answer it.
Dane's not my favorite.
It is a
food.
combination of foods that I always assemble on my plate. And so, big fan of mashed potatoes and gravy. And I love the green peas and also the corn. So I just mix them all together into like a little mashed
Take several
cash.
foods and make your own food.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mashed potatoes casserole, self-made thing.
Sounds
You got a
good.
stew
It's
going
so
right
good.
there, baby.
So good. Got a
I
stew
think
going,
that's
baby.
interesting because a lot of people will really
bone.
like they'll
Stew going,
divide their food so they don't overlap at all.
Oh, I blend it, baby.
Interesting.
Yeah, I used to
Blended.
be, I used to
Added
be
texture
a
to the mashed
demarcation
potatoes?
enthusiast.
So
Wow.
you ate
Do
at those
not
plastic
touch.
plates where they had all the little
Oh, I
compartments?
got 7 plates,
Wow.
7 different plates.
Do not touch
Redrawn
anything.
districts, like
when I was a kid, I
Clear
literally
your
would
palate
get like
with a
a
fine
bowl, a
Chianti.
small plate, and then like a mini plate.
you're sick.
Wow.
My mom did not enjoy it.
Yeah. Look at all
But
the dishes
nothing.
you made me do.
You tell me I'm about to get raspberry blueberry juice on my burger because I'm not. Get it off
Until
the
you
plate.
do, and then you realize it's delicious.
I was so scared of that.
Spaghetti. Or
That's your
tomatoes-
favorite Thanksgiving
No,
food?
no, no.
What?
Tomato.
Uncooked spaghetti.
Uncooked spaghetti.
Like to give thanks in an Italian way.
Just eat the
No,
noodles out of the
what I
box.
was thinking when you were talking about the the juice
Oh my god.
So weird.
Juice. What is happening?
was like tomato sauce juice and like spaghetti or whatever.
Getting
like,
into other things.
touching other things. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And when it
you don't
comes to
just
mashed,
scoop it with the bread and have
it
like
comes to
garlic
mashed
bread.
potatoes-
You got to thicken
I'm
your
talking
sauce
about
up,
food.
man.
This is serious.
You
I'm
got to
sorry.
thicken your sauce up.
I won't interrupt you anymore.
No, but when the sauce isn't my choice
Yeah.
to thicken,
Are we talking about
He
Preston
didn't
again?
cook. He didn't.
No.
He didn't cook.
you have such an obsession with Preston and I.
I do, admittedly so.
Our love is our own.
So what is your
I'm
favorite?
jealous, really. That's what it is.
Other than spaghetti.
We
what's
don't
your-
have
Anyway, okay.
we don't have any of that in the Brotherhood. Okay, I'm done.
Serious. we don't mess around with that. Wow. All right, there's rules. So simple answer: green bean casserole.
There you go.
It's all not spaghetti.
No, it's not.
You gotta have those like
That is good
the
stuff.
Fried onions or whatever, right? The onion chips.
Oh yeah,
on top of it.
that's
yeah,
required.
made with the mushroom, like Campbell's mushroom,
So good.
cream mushroom
That
soup.
sounds
and
delicious.
so good.
Well, I love gravy, and I don't know if that's even considered a food.
mad gravy. Sorry.
Wow,
Dude,
I'm
you're
not
playing-
part of this Preston wow. I don't know why I have to come into the mix.
Do you just eat plain food?
I'm fine.
Plain food. Plain gravy with a spoon.
I eat uncooked spaghetti. Wow. No, I don't. I would eat plain gravy if that's your question.
With a spoon. That was the question.
I would, but I don't. So I'm gonna say, if gravy was not on the Thanksgiving table, I'd be pretty. Someone would need to be held accountable for
Yeah.
that.
Heads will
But
roll.
Someone would be going to the store.
Who did it?
Exactly.
Just grab the
Who was
carving
supposed to
knife.
do it?
Who did it?
Yeah, exactly. But it's got to be that dark meat turkey.
Oh yeah.
If I don't have that dark meat turkey, it is not a good time. And a lot of people don't like it because it's got more fat and blah blah blah.
It's fucking Thanksgiving.
Ah.
Get over yourself.
it's
take
dark
one
meat
day.
turkey. If you have natural fats of an animal, it's gonna be nothing but
It's gonna
good.
taste like natural fats of an animal, which are amazing.
Yeah, they're good for you in moderation, which this is. So
you go.
dark meat turkey, I love
Or
it. So good.
excess
To our
tryptophan.
pie.
We got.
There you go. That's my
Is
answer.
it all pie?
I couldn't decide between apple
There's
and pumpkin,
no
but I'm
I.
leaning towards pumpkin, so just pie. I like
Ooh,
pecan
that's
as
not even
well.
my
I like
favorite
every
pie.
I like apple pie.
I like pecan pie.
Meat is an anagram of team.
Pecan pie.
Meat pie. Wow. So yeah, that was my answer.
That's a good one, and it just gets me pumped about Thanksgiving.
So there you go. Be ready to give thanks tomorrow. Even
Woo!
though, you might
Yeah.
have already given
Gonna do
thanks
it
by the time
hardcore.
you listen to this.
I'm
but
so excited.
enjoy the food and the memories.
man.
So hard.
Don't set the place on fire with the deep fried turkey.
Gravy.
Or do if you're into that.
Putting gravy
So-
on everything.
And it's legal.
Thanks for listening to episode 8
Gravy.
of Rough Around the Podcast Edges.
The podcast edges. They're rough.
Threw me off.
All this
Rough Around
rough.
podcast
This
edges.
food is getting us crazy.
Check us out at roughneckgames.com. We have YouTube videos as well. Check us out there. And all of our social links are on our webpage. Content.
I love you, Preston.
Yay! Thanks for listening.
Bye.
ya.
Goodbye.